So how can you get on LinkedIn today to start landing higher paying clients? You might have heard that LinkedIn is the place to be to find high quality, higher paying freelance clients. And I think that's for a few reasons. Number one, it's just not as crowded as an Upwork or a Fiverr or any other type of freelance bidding site where it seems like, wow, there's a lot of opportunities on here because that's where people are going to hire freelancers. But then that also results in a lot more competition. Okay. So when you go on LinkedIn, there's so many different industries and types of people and professions on that site that it's not freelancers' first instinct to get on LinkedIn, which actually makes it a great opportunity because it's not as saturated. So I'm actually going to give you 6 tips. So 3 of them are just practical, how to actually get on LinkedIn and start using it in really quick and easy ways. And then I want to share with you what you can do with your profile so that you could have people coming to you. So it's 2-pronged strategy. It's how do you put the feelers out there and be active, but then how do you have those prospects also finding you and coming to you? And that comes down to your profile and making yourself searchable. Tell me if you are freelancing currently or if freelancing is something you are interested in. If you're just trying to leave your 9-to-5, we're having the Freelance Fast Track Challenge right now starting January 15th. I highly urge you to go sign up, enroll, register. Even if you can't make it live, register so you can get the replays sent to your inbox. Okay, so number 1, you want to start growing your network by sending thoughtful connect requests, okay? Because the larger your network is on LinkedIn, the more access you have to a wider pool of prospective clients. One of the biggest obstacles when people join 30 Days to Paid is that they don't have access to the people they are trying to pitch, and it's because they don't have a large enough network. You have to be using those connection requests, those invitations every single day. I prefer you send a meaningful message versus leaving that invitation blank, but the more people you are connected to, the better. And a good rule of thumb if you're brand new and starting out is to get 500 connections, because that's that vanity metric that's actually going to show up on your LinkedIn profile that says this person has 500 plus connections. It makes your profile not look like a new person. It's always a little bit of a standout situation when you see like, oh, 250 connections. It just doesn't look like somebody is active on there, right? Number 2 is interact with posts on your feed to increase your visibility. I notice that when I go on LinkedIn and I start interacting with posts, whether it's commenting, liking, sharing, I get those inbound leads coming in through my website and through LinkedIn Messenger. Something about interacting on the feed really pushes you to the top in LinkedIn's algorithm. It not only helps you to show up on other people's feeds because they can see your comments, they can see that you liked it, but it just gives your profile some type of boost where you become more visible. So every day that you can be on there, just liking, commenting, sharing, having activity is going to help you tremendously in terms of standing out and showing up. So number 3 is to scan your feed for opportunities using keywords, these what are called Boolean search terms. One of the sneaky ways, one of the most effective ways that I got clients in the very beginning was I would see people posting updates on the LinkedIn feed, looking to expand their marketing department or something that had to do with marketing, but not necessarily calling for copywriters, but that was my in. If I saw that a company just got a round of funding or was expanding their marketing team or maybe hiring a head of content, somebody that would actually tell me what to do and be the person that I'm working under, that's my time to go in and pitch them and say, hey, I saw you're expanding the marketing department. I'm a copywriter. Do you need help? Even in a Facebook group, actually, I was in a local Facebook group and a woman posted looking for warehouse space because she was expanding her business. It was like an alcohol brand. She was looking for warehouse space to move into as a physical location. And that was somebody who I actually looked up her company, found her on LinkedIn, sent her a message and said, hey, I saw that you're coming to this area in Florida. If you're expanding your marketing efforts, I'm a copywriter, just putting that out there. So quick takeaways in terms of how you can do your profile. This is stuff you can implement today. This is like right away you can start doing this. You want to focus on the parts of your LinkedIn profile that weigh most heavily in search. That is how you have clients actually reaching out to you, which is our dream, right? Is to not have to do so much hustling with the cold pitching. It's like, how do we get them to actually come to us? And there's 3 sections of your profile. I think you're going to want to write this down. There's 3 sections of your profile that weigh the most heavily in search that you're going to want to pack out with the correct keywords, have your niche, your title, have all of that dialed in so that you actually are discoverable on LinkedIn. So number 1 is your keyword packed headline. You want your headline to be packed out with the relevant keywords that your clients are looking for when hiring copywriters, right? So number 1 is the headline. Number 2 is the about summary. So when you scroll down to LinkedIn, there's this section where people can write a little bit more about themselves. I call it the about me section. That has to be packed out with keywords. And you want to actually let your personality show a little bit in that section because it's your ability to stand out and actually connect with the reader personally. This is your ability to actually write an about you section that infuses your personality in there, but it has to also incorporate the keywords. I should have not worn really tight pants to go on this live because I feel like I can't breathe, but let's push through. The experience section of your profile. So everybody on the bottom of your LinkedIn profile has your job title and your company. You want that optimized for freelancing. You want people to immediately be able to tell you're a freelance writer open to opportunities. And again, you have these keywords built out there. You also want a company profile built out there too. I have a very specific reason for that. I have YouTube videos about how to fill out your LinkedIn profile, but basically there's one big mistake that freelancers make when they get on LinkedIn is that they put freelance copywriter, but they don't fill out the company page. And what happens is that you have that gray box next to freelance copywriter, which doesn't seem like that big of a deal. However, when the client goes onto that section and they click that box, they get routed out and directed to other freelancers' profiles. So you want to make your own free company page. It takes 2 seconds. Create maybe a little logo on Canva in 2 seconds. Use a template, make it easy, and just optimize it so that people, when they click on that, they can actually learn more about your company and your brand versus them being directed out into this search of all these other freelancers, right? So the good news is that the Freelance Fast Track Challenge is starting on January 15th. I am going to be teaching you every day for 5 days. I'm going to be going live with you for Q&A sessions. So everything that I'm teaching, you get to ask your questions and get that individual guidance. You want to register for that at paidcopywriter.com. There's a link in my Instagram bio to register for that. Seats are limited. I want you to register even if you can't attend live, if there's a crazy time difference, because you will get those recordings sent to you and you can catch up on your own time as long as you're registered. And what I will be helping you do is create that keyword packed headline. I will be helping you get clear on your niche and your value proposition and why what you're doing matters to your ideal clients. I have a workbook for you. It's an incredible 5 days that we get to spend together, where you get to commit, where you get to follow through, where you get to be put in a community where you are held accountable, where you are sharing your takeaways from each day. You're doing the work. You are actually fleshing out what your brand is going to be. And it's the start of something really beautiful, because this is how you're going to start and launch your freelance career. And even if you have already kind of dabbled in freelancing, but you're just not putting those pieces together of how you make this a sustainable income, this challenge is going to give you a path. You need a plan. In every goal that you're setting, you need a plan of action, because we are all going to get thrown off and we're going to veer off the path and we're going to have setbacks. Things are going to happen. And we need a place to come and pick it back up and get back on the plan to keep going, because consistency is everything in this game. So I want to make this plan super clear for you. I'm going to give you a lot of space to do your own business planning, to really set your goals so that 2024 is the year that you finally make this work, make this a full-time freelance income. It's also just really cool to connect with fellow freelancers, get that one-to-one interaction with me on the lives, and I get to hang out with you guys and connect with you and learn more about you, which is so exciting for me. So register for the Freelance Fast Check Challenge at paidcopywriter.com. You're going to get access to the community. You are going to get access to the workbook when I send those emails out. And you're really going to be able to commit for that 5 days to showing up and learning and having that container to get this started. So it's so exciting. Really excited to hang out with you guys. Just go to paidcopywriter.com and register. Amanda said, I wish it was January 15th tomorrow. Yes, me too. I cannot wait. I think one of my favorite parts of the last challenge we did was getting to see the commitments that people were making. This is my income goal. This is my why. Here is my niche. Here is how I'm going to position myself. And just seeing all those ideas put out there was incredibly inspiring for me. Is there a special reason that the 15th was selected as a start date? No special reason. It's just, I think January though is a really special time because everybody is in this mindset of renewal and trying new things and setting new goals and wanting to become a different person. And if you've had issues staying consistent, if you keep getting knocked off, this is going to inspire you. Like even day one is all about mindset, and that gets everybody really fired up and on the path so that everything we learn, the foundational skills we learn for the remainder of those 4 days, just becomes so much more doable and so much more exciting. So we tackle mindset on day one, then we go into pitching, we go into your LinkedIn profile. You'll see it when you register the curriculum and what we're going to go through, but it's very strategically mapped out to get you from point A to point B. And some of the results that came from the last challenge just really fired me up. People were getting responses to their cold pitch. One person got a freelance client when she hadn't gotten that in months, which was so cool for me to see. A lot of people who had certain fears, certain mindsets. Oh, I just assumed I couldn't do this, but then you made me realize I could. I got a lot of those messages of like, wow, I was letting something so stupid hold me back and it wasn't real. So if we can bust through a lot of those myths, it just becomes a game changer. Saad writes, said, is LinkedIn outreach better than cold emails? I have gotten a lot of messages about, okay, what's the difference between emails? My thing is that when I first became a freelancer, I did rely on cold emailing because when I went on YouTube to figure out what is this freelance copywriting thing, people were saying cold email. And I was a former sales rep, so I was like, of course, that makes sense. I cold email for my job. I know for a fact cold email works. However, I made my little Excel sheet with all of the email addresses that I was reaching out to. I think I sent maybe anywhere from 90 to 100 emails and I got no responses. It was kind of a big flop. And then once I realized that I could get on LinkedIn and actually send these messages directly to people's profiles, I didn't have to go hunting for email addresses. It was such a game changer and I got results really quick. So all of that to say is that, does email work? Yes. Is it more labor and time intensive? Yes, because you really have to search for those emails. So LinkedIn is really a shortcut for how to directly access these people that you might not have their email addresses. However, something I do recommend to my students within 30 days to paid is to track down people's email addresses when you really want to get a hold of them. One of the biggest clients and one of the names that I'm most proud of to have on my copywriting website at this moment, I got because I actually tracked them down via email. So it's like I sent them some messages on LinkedIn, they answered me, and then they ghosted. And that's what happens to a lot of freelancers. They get some traction and then they get ghosted and then they get discouraged and then they give up. But that's really not your time to give up. That's your time to push harder because it shows that you got that initial response. Now you just have to be persistent and follow up until they tell you no. So with this particular client, they had answered me on LinkedIn. They had completely fallen off. So I tracked down her email address and then I started targeting her via email. We did eventually connect and they became a client. And it's all because I followed up with them via email. So I'm really big on follow-up because so many people spend all their time doing the initial outreach and not sending the follow-up. And that's leaving money on the table because you already did the work. You put in that energy to find, to create this tailored pitch. And then by not following up with them, you're kind of letting that go to waste. So you want to make sure that you have a follow-up strategy dialed in, and sending messages that say, hey, just following up is actually not going to cut it. That's what you want to avoid. You want to continue to provide value in a really tailored pitch. So I go into skills like that, stuff that I learned as a sales rep that the average person who wants to become a freelancer might not have been trained in, those sales skills, those prospecting skills, those outreach skills. So all of that, all of these tips, all of these skills, I'm so excited to share with you in this challenge. Even if you want to use a different platform other than LinkedIn, maybe you want to get on Instagram, Facebook, maybe you want to rely on cold emailing. I can really tailor the approach to anyone. The key is, are you positioned correctly? Are you being consistent? And is your message tailored and customized to the person that would actually grab their attention? Those are the keys. So go to paidcopywriter.com, register for the free 5-day challenge. It's called the Freelance Fast Track Challenge. I'm going to be going live for 5 days. I'm going to send you a lesson in the morning. You're going to implement it, and then you're going to get to ask me clarification questions, follow up, ensure that you're getting the support you need. You're going to be put in a community of like-minded freelancers who can also give you feedback. Everybody was so kind and respectful the last challenge, which was so cool. I was loving the community, and it was actually sad when I had to shut it down and, close it out. So everybody needs to get in there and make the most of it while that pop-up community is open, and connect with who you need to connect with me, get your questions answered. And I'm just so excited. I'm wishing you so much prosperity, happiness, peace, and blessings in this new year.